Today is Wednesday, the 26th of April, and this is from the South.
Venezuela has announced it will leave the Organization of American States after the body called a meeting to discuss the situation in Venezuela without the government's consent. The Foreign Minister Delcy Rodriguez said the process will begin on Thursday.
Thousands of people took part in pro- and anti-government protests in Venezuela earlier this Wednesday. According to the Attorney General, 26 people, including 4 minors, have died in violence sparked by the current wave of protests. Students from all across the country marched in the capital in support of the government and called for peace and dialogue. Brazilian police clashed with indigenous activists in Brasilia on Tuesday. Some 2,000 indigenous people of various tribes marched outside Congress to demand rights to their land. The altercation occurred when small groups of indigenous people tried to enter the parliament building but were prevented by the authorities. About 600 natives of Peru's Amazon region took control of a non-producing oil field operated by Canada's Pacific Exploration and Production Corporation on Tuesday. According to a representative, the indigenous people demanded payment for use of the land. The field, which is located near the Ecuadorian border, has been idle since last year due to pipeline ruptures. The grandmothers of the Plaza de Mayo group announced that they have found a man alleged to be the son of a couple who were murdered during the military dictatorship. The man, who is now 42 years old, is the 122nd person to be found by the human rights group. He was born in the largest clandestine detention center during the dictatorship. Evangelical pastor Juan Rocha and 4 followers are accused of murdering Nicaraguan Vilma Trujillo because they believed she was possessed by the devil. The woman was burned to death in an exorcism that caused worldwide shock. Witnesses told the court that the victim was starved and beaten in the week before her killing. Rocha apparently holds huge sway in the small village where he preached. The trial is set to resume on May 2nd. United States President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to identify national monuments that can be rescinded or resized. This forms part of a broader push to open up more federal lands to drilling, mining, and other development. While Republicans in Utah and other states are keen to lift protections they see as too expensive and undermining economic opportunities, environmental groups and Native Americans are deeply opposed. Thousands of taxi drivers took to the streets in Madrid, Spain to protest against the increase in private service licenses for companies such as Uber and Cabify. The drivers also demanded that laws regulating their sector be enforced. Several thousand French police employees protested in Paris to demonstrate against bad working conditions and the dangers they face on a daily basis. Flags and placards with a black ribbon were used to mark the death of a police officer who was killed in a recent attack on the Champs-Élysées. Hundreds of protesters gathered in SEONGJU, South Korea, to protest against the installation of a U.S. missile system there. The system's deployment comes amid rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea. Residents in 2 towns in South Africa's northwest province clashed with police as anger about access to services and the death of a black boy sparked violence. The boy had fallen off a moving vehicle driven by white farm workers. According to a police spokesperson, the white farmers were arrested. And in sports, Bruno Fernandes handed himself over to police after the Brazilian Supreme Court decided he has to go back to jail. However, he was able to return to his club's base because police did not have the correct paperwork to detain him overnight. Fernandes was convicted for the gruesome murder of his ex-girlfriend, but only served a part of his 22-year sentence. His lawyer plans to appeal the court's decision. More on these and other stories on our website, telesurtv.net/English.